Keychain wallet? Why not? Spike jacket? Sure. Brass knuckles? Whatever.
What's going on, Metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Holy hell, it feels like it's been a minute since I've done an interview, and it's like every few weeks I'll have a lot of them come through, and then I'll get 4 or 5 weeks ahead, and then it'll be just wow, it feels like I haven't done this in so long, but it's not really been that long. So as you can see here in the Metal Forge, we already have Coffin Hunters in the gallery. Dudes, what's going on?
What up, Mark? Thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. I got the promo email, and I was just like, holy shit, what is this? and I was just like, it's like Doom on acid, kind of. I mean, I hear Duel was just recently on the Metal Forge, and they got that rock, doom and roll kind of feel, and I get that, but then there's kind of the space involved, but I don't know, it's fun, and I like it. But before we get into all of the stuff, how the fuck are you all? How are you all doing?
Fucking good. Yeah, good. I mean, we're out here on the West Coast, so we're getting off work. It's 6 o'clock here. I think you're
and it's 9 here where I am. It's just now starting to get dark.
Yeah. Okay, we got some time.
Yeah, you all have got some time, and by the time we record this, it's a Thursday night, and it's early in June, and sometimes these our weather has been getting hot in the day again. But it's been kind of okay in the morning, 50s.
Yeah.
And I love that time of year.
Where are you at?
I am actually right above Louisville, Kentucky in Indiana.
Okay. All right. Right on.
And when we get those nice days, because we get really humid here. Sticky, nasty, it's it's almost like jungle humid, and it's gross because we have a lot of deciduous trees like oak and maple and stuff, water maples and shit like that around here. So it's interesting how, I need to come out there because I haven't been out to the Pacific Northwest yet.
You gotta come out. We're kind of right between, I don't know if we're Pacific Northwest. We're kind of right there on the border. We're not quite Bay Area either. So we're in Sonoma County. We're Santa Rosa. So we're right on the cusp of the Redwoods, right on the cusp of the Bay Area. So we get a little bit of that Pacific Northwest feel. And then we got the Bay Area. So that's kind of the cultural hub. Is San Francisco is probably 45, 50 minutes away from here. So that's kind of where.
So you all are still on you're on the side that's gonna go, right?
On the fault line. On the fault line.
Yeah, you're on the on the line.
We're the thinking of the fucking earth.
So I actually had a friend who lived up a little bit more north in California, that her property was literally the line.
Yeah.
And she was just on this side of it to where she would still fall out into the ocean. It was holy shit. It's crazy that's gonna happen one day. I mean, and some days I'm assuming we all feel that it's not soon enough, but hopefully not. Hopefully not. There's still too much cool fucking metal to make and shit between now and then.
Especially here in Santa Rosa, there's a lot kind of going on right now too. So if we could delay the big earthquake for a bit longer, that'd be great.
So tell us about Santa Rosa. Tell us about the scene there. You say there's a lot going on, and like you said, you've kind of got the main hub. Excuse me. That's about 45 minutes away with the Bay Area and everything. But in Santa Rosa, what do you have going on?
I don't know, it's really strong local scenes. So we got some great death metal. There's always been a lot of punk rock and underground indie rock. just DIY music scene associated with this. We have the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma, which is like a long historic, punk rock, like graffitied wall, skate ramps kind of spot.
Sure.
And, most of us who grew up in this area grew up around that kind of stuff and went to shows from the time that we were like 13. So a lot of young kids get into music here and get into playing and start bands. And so we've been playing with lots of folks like these kids from Scythe and Incredulous, and now these bigger acts like Laceration and Vile Rights, who are making some serious noise in our area.
Sure.
And
now isn't like Zetro from up around in there as well?
They're all kind of from up around here. So they all kind of say, a lot of them will say they're from San Francisco. And for those that aren't in the Bay, it's all San Francisco. A lot of them are from the East Bay. I know that Zetro has North Bay roots, and I know for sure that
because I'm wanting to think one of the brothers lives around there. I think he was talking here recently on social media about being around Santa Rosa.
And Chuck Billy is like from the North Bay. Sean's in another band with Rick Hunolt, who is in
Lake.
Yeah, I know who. Rick. Exodus fame of Exodus and Die Humane and that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of that history kind of floating around, and so it sets a scene in the North Bay. And honestly, for a long time, we all tried to go down to San Francisco and Oakland, where the bigger scenes were, and it was really hard to get in. We'd get offered a lot of gigs that were rough.
Tuesday night,
and then
at 6 o'clock
or close for the touring act.
Exactly, and so. More recently, there's a promoter up here that runs a promotion company called Bitter End, and he's been booking really well and just creating a scene, and it's just really DIY. And I'd say 2020, I'd say the pandemic really is when everything crystallized, and Brandon and Bitter End booking really became a thing, and we started to see some of the bands that were a little more aimless, like Laceration's the big one. Start to just call Santa Rosa home and no longer trying to claim that we're from the Bay and trying to say we're from San Francisco, but really just being able to own, Santa Rosa is its own thing. And it's just been growing and growing. And that's how Brandon and Bitter End Booking, we just had a discussion with him. We'd shopped around for labels and got a lot of I'll put you out, but it'll be 2 years because my production schedule is so impacted. And we just approached Brandon and said, let's just do it. Let's just make our own label, basically. And Brandon gave us the green light to use the Bitter End name. And so here we are. So we just are getting ready to release that new one and just basically doing it full DIY.
And see, that's sometimes what you have to do. And, talking about a scene and claiming a place as your home because of scene pride and stuff like that is one thing, but it almost transcends with the internet today. And I've said this numerous times on here. It's like some of these bands have members in Fresno, some of them have members in LA, and some of them have members in Vegas that are all in the same band. And it's like, where exactly can you be local to? So somebody's got to pick it. And it's just that's where you get a lot of these, actual smaller scene name bands. And it puts names on the maps because, I guarantee that most people wouldn't know the significance of Downey, California, but I guarantee a thrash person would know the significance of Downey, California.
Yeah, you could say the same for a lot of those little California scenes. Like Oxnard had such a big kind of a name because of what was going on there. But I don't know what's going on in the Bay. San Francisco's struggling. All the venues are closing. And so Sacramento, which is 2 hours east of us, is screwing up a lot of the touring package stuff. So Santa Rosa is really trying to make a claim for another option in the Bay that's not Oakland and San Francisco. So in just a couple of weeks, we've got Anvil coming to town. We're going to open up that show. So we've got Anvil coming to town, and we've had some other big names.
My metal family's on that tour.
No shit.
My metal family is on that tour. Anvil, hey, Anvil support, Metal Pounder for life. This is the Metal Forge, so I had to have Lips on the show.
That's awesome.
So not only that, but was able to perform with them and met Rachel and Drew from Midnight Hellion, and cool. Super rad people. Just love them to death. I've booked them a few times as well.
Because that's like the touring package that's going around right now is Midnight Hellion and Anvil.
Yes.
Cool. And so you were they?
They weren't here. No, they weren't here. We opened for them a couple of tours ago.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So that was probably back in 23. And that's when we met everybody. And I'd had Lips on the Metal Forge prior to that. So I always said that, are you all wrestling fans at all?
A little, yeah.
I always say that Lips, if you close your eyes and just listen to him, he's like listening to Bret Hart. Like the sound of their voice is very similar, and their speech pattern is very much the same. And they're from two opposite parts of Canada, which is great. But anyway, so no, that's cool. So you all have, like you said, you have Sacramento a couple of hours to the east. So we share an issue here because you have the Danny Wimmer Festival in Sacramento, right? What is that? Aftershock?
Oh yeah.
Aftershock Festival or whatever it is.
Big, yeah.
Yeah, that's like 7 stages over 4 days, 160 bands now. Like Louisville has Louder Than Life.
Right.
And ours is in September. Now, do you all notice a scene change with that coming around even? Like, do you notice more bands like either don't hit as frequently now like they did before because they might be playing that festival?
Yes. I think the thing that's frustrating because I think we prefer small clubs. I'm not one I've been to Aftershock, but I don't want to go to Aftershock and stand in the sun for 4 days and, to see a 20-minute set amidst 70,000 other people. And so it is frustrating because like the big acts, so like Maiden and Priest did it, I think 2 years ago. And it's like, man, you could see Maiden and Priest in one afternoon, but you got to go to Aftershock. And like, that's a tough sell for me. What I would notice though, on the smaller side of things is that the smaller bands will kind of come out and then try to play other regional, like local shows. And so we might get a little bit of cleanup stuff in the Bay where they're like, oh, we'll do SAC and then we'll do a Bay Area show. So you can get some of the smaller acts might come out and get an extra gig from them.
Okay, well, that's good at least, because here it doesn't seem like that happens. It seems like, once people get, especially like the bands that would be playing a club scene or even a small theater scene, I would say, where they might have 1 or 2 books in a theater on a tour as opposed to like most of, but that it's mostly like, or it's like a higher end bar kind of deal. You would get those bands, but then with what I've noticed here with our Wimmer Fest is like now they don't come around as often because they have a lockout on the city. And they might come 3 hours away because that's their radius clause because of the way Louisville is sent. The location is, we're within, 5 hours from like 6 or 7 major cities.
Yeah. I don't know what the radius clause is, but yeah, I mean, if there's the bigger acts that are doing it, they don't come into the Bay. So you got to go out and do it. A lot of people seem to come out and do like one day stints though. It's not like everybody's touring package lines up in SAC, it's like they're on a festival circuit thing and they're just flying from spot to spot. So it is what it is.
Definitely. And for all three of you on this, because you're being around the Bay Area and everything, and with its history in metal in particular, and I say metal in particular because it's not just thrash. There's a lot of death. There's some crossover, and there's all kinds of scene that came out of the Bay Area. Now, like if you've got friends that are coming in on tour and they want to do the thing, like you want to see the sights and stuff like that, what's the place that people always ask about, but you're just like, man, it's like a shithole and I don't want to go there? Where is it?
Well, oh man, I don't know. Like if you come to San Francisco, I don't know if you want to bother with going to Alcatraz. Like that's a whole lot of time wasted. I bet. And then again, if you're a history buff, you might get a kick out of it. So I can't tell you. But I wouldn't do it, and I'm not going with you if you want to come visit. I can tell you the shit you do want to see, but like in our area in particular, like I don't know what to avoid. Like
it's different up in the North Bay. So it's different from being in the Bay proper. It might be like
so what I'm saying is like they want to go see the Metalla house or whatever, and you're just like, come. Yeah, fuck that. I don't want to go down there.
Or wherever it is.
Yeah.
Where is that? It's basically, like Berkeley.
I mean, they all look the same too. I mean, it's probably been like painted and renovated anyway. So
right.
Right.
I know there's an inscription in the sidewalk there.
Is there really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's in Pablo or something. It's in like a crappy East Bay. Well, I shouldn't shit on the East Bay. It's in the burbs. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, don't shit talk. Don't shit talk. I mean, that East Bay show might pay off one day. Right?
I don't know, like what to avoid. I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff to see. Like we got a lot of great nature. Like even close to San Francisco, there's cool shit to see. Up here we have like redwoods and
hell yeah,
rivers and mountains and hills. There's beer to the left of you and wine to the right, and some of the best grass that has ever been grown.
Yep.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing
in a lot of ways.
I think I might have to plan a trip for Aftershock and just skip Aftershock. Go to 4 local shows in 4 days. Good. So, I kind of had an epiphany the other day about touring and stuff where I've planned this tour very differently than any other, and it might actually pay off for some cool visitation of places if it can be worked out well enough.
Like you're saying, like trying to do like sightseeing and touring.
Yeah. So like, here's something that I've realized that's like, as I've gotten older as a musician, when I bring up about touring, about how like I think I can change like the way some people could do it, it's like as I've gotten older, it's like, I always want to go and see more places. Like I think most people do. They want to go to the Grand Canyon. They want to go to, Disneyland, or they want to see, the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. What's that?
Wally World, man.
Yeah, or Wally World. They don't close Florida. But you could imagine if they did. But yeah, doing all that stuff and like just like centralizing a tour around an Airbnb. Like 2-hour drives in like a fucking pattern and just hit it. And it's like, that would be like a really cool idea.
Oh, totally. I mean, I think Northern California has a lot to California being on the West Coast, everything's so spread out. But if you hold up in Sacramento, Reno's 2 hours away, the Bay's 2 hours away, Redding's 2 hours north, Fresno's 3 or 4 hours south. You could Santa Cruz is nearby, so like you have all that in a drive.
Yeah, and you could totally, if you didn't have a 15 passenger van, and of course this all depends on your means too. If you have to fly to these places, or if you're flying in and renting a van to drive somewhere, but I just think, instead of like hitting a stop and then going and then hitting a hotel room or crashing on a friend's pad, that I think that is a different way to do it. But I think it necessarily, that rite of passage might, in this day and age, might not be the way to do it anymore. You got to adapt to the times. And in the time of doing that, you had road shack places. You had motels on the road that were open 24 hours a day type shit. You don't have that all the time anymore, especially when you get out into like fucking trying not to cuss as much, when you get into like Utah and stuff like that, where there's nothing for like 140 miles except for exits and like trees and open sky.
Yep.
So definitely. So anyway, as I said before in the primer to the episode, we kind of just go on and talk about whatever. So why don't we actually sit here and talk about Cosmic Dawn, that is coming out in July? I love the color scheme. I love like the pinks and the yellows and the little bits of orange, and I love that, just that trippiness. It would look amazing in vinyl under a black light with a UV cover.
Got we got a copy.
Oh shit, he's got that. Oh wow, that is amazing. That
you see the wax too. So that's this guy. So Sweden here did the artwork for that.
Amazing. Now,
that's the vinyl.
That is gorgeous.
We did 250 of those, and they're going. So if you want one, hit us up on Bandcamp. Yeah,
and links are listed below. So
nice.
Act now. That's a dated reference. Does anybody get that?
Oh yeah, I've been homesick from school before.
Okay, cool. And I mean, that's probably an 80s, 90s reference as well. Like, or watching the digs on YouTube.
Yeah. What do you say? So color, like going to the album, like
let's go back.
Every single reaction by far that we've seen on the album so far that we've sent it to, 100%, everybody comments on the color scheme first. And so it's two things. You said this when we first opened. You said like the colors, and then there's this effort to try to define the music, and it's always I've been really loving people try to wrap their heads around like how they subgenre us, and it's really fun because we're getting people going, I don't know. You said something like acid doom and roll, I think was some, and so it's just been fun to hear how people try to put words to it.
I mean, like, there's obviously, and that's the thing. It's hard to put words to. And that is where I think lightning strikes. And, when you really have something is when it's like kerfluffling or whatever it's just like, I don't get it. And that's the beautiful part about, I think, in music is the interpretation of it. Because again, as you said with colors, I see colors in albums the way they're supposed to be done. Like, for example, The Wall needed that cover. If it didn't have that cover, it would not be the same, with the artwork involved on the inside jacket and everything. But that stark white cover of nothing but bricks.
I mean, this was, so Sweden is our in-house artist.
Sure.
and he crushed it again. He did our previous album, and he did great. It was a black and white cover, very heavy metal, very traditional in the color scheme. But I don't know that we knew what we were getting. And then he sent this. He goes, "All right, guys, I'm done." And I think we were all blown away. The idea to do something so bright and so outside of what you might think with normal, like traditional heavy metal stuff.
Sure.
I mean, like what I was pulling on with specifically in the colors, it was like that San Francisco like hippie, like acid. There's like I'm a big and like this should show in the line work of the artwork, because my other aspiring creative career was comic books, and so getting into underground comics and like the shit that was happening in San Francisco around the '60s, around like Zap Comics and what's his name, Crumb, and some of the other guys that worked on those. There was this one named Victor Moscoso, who does like a lot of the posters for the Fillmore back in the day, did a lot of posters for like Jefferson Airplane and like the Grateful Dead and stuff like that. These like really tripped out acidy ones where he's using color theory of these like contrasting like electric colors that create a sensation of movement. And so that's sort of what I was going for here with this like psychedelic acid doom genre album, where we're like obviously pushing some sort of creative boundary of ourselves. I think of Coffin Hunters as like a rock and roll band, or like traditional heavy metal. Don't really try to put too much else on it, but like each of us has our favorite bands and our influences, and we come in pushing these slightly different agendas, and we get something kind of unique from it. And with the artwork kind of reflecting that, it ended up being kind of psychedelic. And so when I heard the album, I thought, psych it out, go acid with it.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously it conveys that. And it's great. So when you all got together to do the album from the last cycle, and you started, what was on the album, what was the first thing that came together and you all were just like, I think we can make something out of this?
So I think we had the first track for this album written before we even finished the last album, the Isle of the Dead song.
Yeah.
And we were playing that song live kind of almost as the last album came out. And so we kind of got to writing the next album right away. And then each song came together.
I think the last song, Nightmare Mass, I think there's a riff in there from like the early days.
Yeah, like probably 2013. Like I don't know. You're in a band. You know how it goes. There's like riffs on your phone and your like voice memos that you'll pull from like.
Or you'll come across an older phone, an older generation that you had. Yeah. Like you'll have like, I've got like an iPhone like 13 that I'm using. I mean, but like when this one goes, everything that's going to be on it, it'll get transferred. But will I ever listen to it again on the new phone?
Yeah. Well, then one day you do, and then there, and then you get a song for your new album that you've had since you were like still picking pimples, I guess.
Right, for sure. And so when you do that, and some bands like to make a loose concept when they do albums, are you all like that type of band? Do you have the concept of things? Do you do like each song is its own thing, but you might, this song might remind you of another song that you did, something like that? What is the general idea?
I feel like we kind of make our concept up afterwards. Like, that the cut ups method. You just take a poem, cut it up into pieces, throw it on the floor, rearrange it, and call it, a work of art.
Okay.
Like we obviously kind of stuck to a theme with Coffin Hunters and skeletons and like, the dead guy, right? Like death is pretty metal in general. And so diving a little deeper than that, like a contemplation of existence and life and creation and creativity as participants in creation and creativity. And
I think that like a lot of the riffs themselves are so inspired like by things deeper than necessarily language can convey. Like Sean has his work cut out for him because we'll come to him with ideas and he'll just write these beautiful lyrics. But I think it's like a dedication often to the riff, and like it conjures up, I think, ideas from all of us. We hear a riff, whoever brings the riff in, we hear it and we go, oh yeah, and we have ideas about what that means. And it's such a central guiding concept outside of the skeleton Coffin Hunters death motif is just it's a love letter to like hard rock, I think, in so many ways. Like we really love that stuff, and without aping it and without redoing it, we kind of want to put our spin on it, but not put ourselves in a single place in the canon and just go, oh, we're going to do this. We're just going to do, whatever, thrash riffs, or we're just going to do trad riffs, or we're just going to do death riffs. We're going to like kind of whatever comes to mind that is in the spirit of rock and roll.
Sure. And I mean, yeah, look at like what it's like. What would Tony Iommi do?
Mm.
Because he had heavy riffs, he had doomy riffs, he had thrashy riffs, and like all in the same stuff.
I'm thinking like Red Horizon. You open Red Horizon, and that's like clearly just like Steve Harris worship. Like it starts that way, but then it like we veer off into a blackened thrash riff. We end with kind of a stoner doom riff. So I guess it's the like wanting to let us appreciate and cite our sources, as Sweden often says, but then also like not let it bind us and say, oh, it has to be this way. Like Steve Harris wouldn't do it this way, so it has to be this way. But being like, cool, no, we did that, and let's go ahead and like put our own stamp on it.
Sure, because it's everybody takes influence from something. And again, like take Steve Harris, for example, he is a literature aficionado. He loves literature, and the influence that he takes from that, I totally am cool with, and that's what makes him him. And the same thing of like the people that the bass players or whatever that he looked up to, and the stuff that he had taken from them, and the same thing like anybody else would do from any other musician that they look up to or a writer that they look up to. And I think that's amazing.
I think it'd be important too to like give some space to our strong silent type here.
Yeah.
So Sean, he's our lyricist, and we might come to him with one word and just be like, Sean, Cosmos. And he's like, cool, got it, done. Executioner was one. Sean, write a song about an executioner.
Yeah, so I mean, they'll come up like a concept, kind of a theme or something, and then and I mean some things I came up to. It's an exchange of kind of like ideas and stuff, and then then I'll kind of write lyrics to whatever we arrive at there. And like he had an idea of like the executioner and kind of the place that they place in society and things like that. Kind of like write something around that. And I think like what's cool about the band is like you'll create a riff, and like you're it's going through you and all the influences that you have and stuff like that. And then if I put like vocal melodies on top of that, I'm pulling from something different and stuff, and it kind of creates like this sort of different thing. It's like this sort of like I feel like we all create like sort of a synergy of sort of with all our different sort of influences and stuff. But like back to like lyrically and stuff like that, like yeah, I think the concepts and stuff that are kind of going through there is sort of like, I mean, thematically like Coffin Hunters, is like death, but also life, just the human experience. And I feel like like lyrically, it pulls a lot of kind of like accepting that or mortality is like a part of life, and exploring that and exploring like the unknown, how to come to terms with with that and the fear associated with that as well.
Do you guys think there's a consistent thematic difference between this album and the Wake the Dead, like lyrically, sound wise? I mean, like there's no keyboard on the last album. There's keyboards now. That's also Sean.
Sure. Nice.
We have to kind of sandbag him, otherwise his genius just takes over everything. Like, so it's like you can't play guitar because that hurts my feelings too much when he plays guitar at our band practice. I'm fucking allowed.
But I like the ability that that you guys asked me to play keyboards, and we're like, oh, it'd be cool if you did do that, and like because it's something that I always
it's incredible.
Did love to do, and I started out playing piano as like my first instrument and stuff like that, but didn't really have like a band setting to like explore that and like be creative with like other people with that. So it was cool to be able to have like an outlet for that and play.
I can see this becoming a thing now. This is going to be like he's going to take over, as you said. You have to sandbag him, and now it's going to be the thing. It's going to be like mellotrons and
he's
pretty rad. Yeah.
Already happening.
Sean actually brought in a song for the new. We're already writing again, and he brought in a song. And it's funny. We didn't. Sean sandbagged himself. Sean came into the project. We said, Sean, do you want to be part of the band? And he goes, yeah, but I only want to sing. He's like, I'm part of all these other bands, and I play a lot of guitar. I do all these other things. I just want to focus on being able to sing. And we said, okay, fine. And so I don't even know if we asked. I think we were like, dude, why don't you bring in your keeper? You're the one that keeps saying you don't want to, but like, please do.
Yeah, it's probably kind of more what it was, like, because like we'd go to like a venue or something like that, and they'd have a piano there, and then I'd just start playing that, and it'd be like, oh, check this out. Like, yeah, why don't you do that? I'm like, oh no, I just want to sing, because like I love the freedom of just being able to run around and not have any instrument attached to my body, because then like I can move around a lot, I was so used to having the microphone here, the guitar, singing, so that I couldn't really move a whole lot and stuff. And it was like the idea of just being in a band where I could just kind of, just run around and not worry about it, and just focus on my vocals was super appealing to me, but then when I started playing the keyboard, I'm like, oh, okay, like now I kind of have to just play this also, because like in a good way, like I'm like happy that,
The irony is it's not restraining. If anything, it opened up more doors. Like, so as soon as we threw the keys in, I think all of us were like, and that, I mean, again, like Sean makes this point about we have an influence and then it gets filtered through everybody else's influences. And so even though somebody might be a primary songwriter on a song, you can hear, like, Sweden will bring in a riff often, and you can hear his influences, but then by the time we're done writing the song, you can hear where Sean's influences come into play and all of this stuff. And Sweden asked this question of like, thematically, like, is there a consistency between this and the last album, Wake the Dead? I actually think there is. Like, Wake the Dead is where we like really locked in and found our sound, especially because we got Brennan Kunkel on drums, and that made a huge difference when we added him to the band. Huge, like, just we made leaps and bounds. We were more sophisticated, but this time it's more mature, I think, and thoughtful, and less sort of like reactive and kind of rushed. The last album, I think, was sort of like we're still in like kind of excited and a little unfocused, and this time feels considerably more intentional the whole way around.
I mean, and just the titles too. I think they work it nicely as a 1-2 punch. Like Wake the Dead is like, the dude rises from the grave. He's like now alive, taking his first undead non-breaths, and then like we move on through the wasteland, and he's like now standing at the portal to eternity, and it's like now we're going on our cosmic journey. So like,
oh yeah, totally.
These motifs of death like really do veil a meditation on eternity.
Sure. Kind of an existentialistic.
Yeah, if you give me a couple beers, I'll really go there.
For sure. Absolutely. So as we're midway through 26 already, what are we looking forward to the rest of the year?
Well, obviously the big release, that's a huge deal. really excited about the big show with Anvil too. Like that's huge.
Because it's
They're
Anvil, yeah.
yeah, they're legends, man, and it's like that's probably one of the bigger bands we've gotten to play with so far.
Right
And
on.
for them to come to our hometown, they're playing in Santa Rosa at our hometown venue with our like crew running the show. So it'll feel very, very like affirming to our family, our community.
Well, you definitely deserve it for sure,
No,
because the music is amazing. So I would, I'd love to be able to see a live show. So
yeah,
hopefully,
love that to
if
happen.
you all do plan any tours or any Airbnb dropping stops or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
I think that's next. I think we're putting the record out, and it's all DIY, and we're all,
Sure.
we all have jobs, we all have day jobs, and so it's a challenge. But it took a lot. We funded the whole thing and really sank a lot into it compared with Wake the Dead. We used the same studio. We worked with Greg Wilkinson at Earhammer Studios in Oakland. So Greg of
Grammy Greg.
Grammy Greg. And so that kept the cost down a bit, but we pressed it on wax ourselves. Whereas last time we had a label in the Netherlands help us with pressing, and we had interest from some folks, but they wanted to put it out so much later. And so we funded that ourselves. So we just sink everything into it, and we've got a big hometown show. And then I think the goal is to put together a little something, probably West Coast. We've got some friends with vans, and like I said, our buddy that's a promoter and the label that we're working with now has a lot of contacts. So that's probably next. I think we're going to have probably more attention this time around than we did on the last one. And so hopefully, yeah, ride that wave into doing something, like look at what offers are going to come in.
Sure.
Find some
Absolutely.
coattails.
Yeah, and that's the thing, by the time stuff gets released, you never know what's going to happen, because I just recently had something like that happen myself, where it's like we did everything ourselves,
Mhm.
pressed our own copies of everything, and then somebody was just like, "Hey, we want to have the exclusive rights to print this," and it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, it's like we released songs before you could have hit us up."
Yeah.
But it was
As
fun.
say, fuck you, pay me.
I think I'd love to like have us shoot for some bigger things in probably like summer 27. Honestly, like I got my eyes set on a couple festivals. There's some West Coast festivals. There's a couple that I think we can head after. But like I said earlier, we're rather than trying to be a Bay Area band, I think instead we decided to just like completely own Santa Rosa, and there's a couple of us. We share a studio space with Laceration. We keep bringing up Vile Rights. We keep bringing up Barren Altars right next door, and so I think we're all happy with what we're doing and creating something out of Santa Rosa. And rather than us trying to go out and
Sure,
like
you're trying to bring people in.
grow from here is sort of the idea.
Sure. And it's scene cultivation. It's bringing back the things that they used to have, that because of going to bigger city hubs is what people miss out on. So like I remember growing up, the places that we used to have, the small places that we used to have that did shows. And here we are, 25 years later, they're not there anymore. And
that's
we have to rebuild that.
And Santa Rosa has that, and it didn't. I mean, he mentioned the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma, which was the North Bay spot. That would have been the only thing on the map. And now Santa Rosa it was house parties and bar shows, and now we've got a venue and we've got a promoter that believes in the area enough, and we have enough bands that are able to play enough shows that Bitter and Booking can put a show on and there'll be a crowd.
Yeah.
In Santa Rosa,
and often selling out.
Yeah. And so like it's like we finally have something. And so I don't think we have a huge desire to want to go and fight and elbow our way into like getting on bills in Oakland. I mean, we want to go play with those bands, and a
Yeah.
lot of them are our friends and we know them. But I think we're really proud of like claiming Santa Rosa and having a spot to just really feel accepted by the local community as well.
Hell yeah, man. That's amazing. So I like to ask some general questions also. Just some random ones here. What are you drawn to?
Like burritos.
All right.
Like I assume we're talking rock and roll here. Like
No, it's anything.
No,
These are general questions. Like these are about you as a person. So if you're drawn to burritos, dude, I get that.
Was that the Rorschach test? The first thing that came to mind. I think I might be hungry.
Hey, I get it.
It's rock and roll, man. I figured that out at a young age, but I wanted my hair to be long, and I wanted to listen to rock and roll. And I want to play rock and roll. I want to participate in the canon in some way or another. I found my way to do it. I found a way to like play an instrument and be on stage, which is a really cool way to participate in it. If it had meant like writing zines or being a photographer, I would have found a way. But like,
Sure,
that's what it is about. People struggle to find the meaning in life, and like I felt lucky knowing like it's rock and roll. It's stupid. Like, let's go.
hell
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Rock and roll is a big part of my life. I go to a lot of shows, buy a lot of records, and really try to challenge myself to like listen to things that maybe I otherwise wouldn't. And granted, my tastes are all drawn into the rock and roll, but not pigeonholing myself into I only listen to old school death metal or I only listen to 60s classic rock, but like really trying to grow, I guess. So like that's like something and I'd say like across the board, like trying to experience new things. I read somewhere about something about like people tend to only listen to the music they listen to, you know, in their coming of age years. And I don't want to be like listening to just that anymore. I still love all of that stuff that was so inspiring when I was 15. But if, you know, like we're all in our 30s and 40s, like if I'm still spinning that stuff, like it's old and like I want to grow. And so the idea of like growth is I think something that's reflected in the new album too. I think the maturity, like being drawn to, I think there's a maturity in our writing that I feel drawn to, where one of the most challenging things is how to negotiate when people have differences in opinions. And I think that we're mature enough as writers to be able to navigate those things. And that's really exciting so that we can go into the studio and we practice every week and not have it be a place of animosity, have it be a place where like we celebrate each other and we can grow and we can navigate these things. And so I'm really drawn to the idea of growing musically because we're like I said, we're all working. So it's not like we're a young band that's like able to do, you know, 5 3-hour sessions a week. Like we know how to use our space. And so that's I'm drawn to the idea of like us growing and doing that.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you guys. I feel very similarly. But like, I'm drawn to just music. I just remember from a very early age just having it give me such a like incredible feeling just hearing music and hearing melody and just trying to understand it and like, you know, and just playing piano from a young age and stuff and just like really immersing myself in like what this feeling was, you know, and just trying to explore that as much as possible. And like, you know, and like as I got older and stuff, just explore different genres and, you know, and trying to find, you know, the good in everything that even if it's not like, you know, like my like favorite genre or, you know, or whatever, if it's like pop or metal or rock or whatever, like it's all music, you know, like it all comes from a similar place, you know, and you can listen to that and like pick stuff out. They're like, that's sick. I like that. You know, I like that thing that happened there that, you know, what they're doing, you know, like musically is creative and beautiful. And like, you know, and I think like if you immerse yourself just in music in general, all those influences just kind of shape you, and like all genres, and you and I think it makes you a more, rounded musician, and just like and it yeah, it's yeah, I just love music, I guess.
I'm smiling because Sweden and I played in a bluegrass band and met Sean, who was playing in, like, I guess you would call it like a folk indie kind of a band. And that's how we first met him. But it was like, he's got long hair, but that dude's a metalhead. And we were, not like closet metalheads. We just happened to be in a bluegrass act at the time. And so it was so funny because then, like, we were playing a gig together or something, and it was like, just starts talking, and it was like, we were so excited about, like, oh, we're the fellow metalheads in this funny, like, little bluegrass Americana scene that was happening at the time. And so as soon as we had formed Coffin Hunters, Sean was the first and only name on the list when it was like, let's find a vocalist. And I think it's worth pointing out too, like, Brendan's not here, unfortunately, but it's to echo what everybody's saying. Like, I've heard Brendan say so many times how much he just loves to create. And, like, that dude loves to be in the studio and just throw out ideas. And he's a drummer with an ear for melody. Right. And so he can always just kind of be there to be like, hey, I hear this, I hear that. And I think there's a thrill for all of us in that.
Yeah, I think that exchange, and like you said, like a willingness to hear ideas, and like, like, yeah, and like that ability not to be like take anything personally or anything, and like be able to really like kind of take, I feel like it's just like if someone hears something, they feel free to like kind of voice it, and I think that's really important and a cool thing, because it makes the music, I feel like, as good as it can be when you have it with, if someone like hears something or feels something, like that they're able to express it, and like, and I feel like we're all really good about like communicating and like not taking anything like personal, because at the end of the day, we all like want to do the same thing.
I can't believe you'd say that, dude. I'm pissed. Yeah, no, it is a good, like, I enjoy the sensation of being surprised. I think I don't enjoy too much of a routine, and so like I can be locked into my own ideas about things, and when people push against them, it's kind of an uncomfortable sensation at first, and then you get something else out of it, and that resulting surprise of like, oh gosh, thank goodness it like grew into something that I didn't think it could be.
Yeah, I think we all have the thing there where we are in a practice and we have like a certain sound in our head, but we realize that not everybody has that same sound and they hear it differently. And then when they alter it, and you have to be on that level mind to where you can sit there and you have to be able to detach from it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be grown up enough to where you can detach yourself from it, to where you can invite someone else to do to alter the idea and to add to it and to co-write. And that's what's amazing with it.
Well, that's the mature, like, to know when to put your foot down too. And to know, like, hey, no, I really want to stick to my guns on this, to know how to communicate. And so once I think we figured that out, I'm looking at the track listing. So Last Nail in the Coffin, the working title on it was the jam song, because it was just sort of a warm-up jam. But it grew in a way that I think was unexpected for all of us, and it turned into kind of a ballad, and I don't think any of us really necessarily expected that. And I know it's one of everybody's favorites, and it, like he said, lightning in a bottle, like kind of being surprised. Like, I wouldn't have I don't think we would have written it organically if somebody was just like bringing a riff in.
So it's like there's this presence and wherewithal to be like, okay, stop. That was the thing. Like, go back and do that. I personally have written more songs than I would care to admit, like trying to just from memory, like ape some famous old song. And then like, I'm going to try to play Ace of Spades. And then I fuck it up somehow and it comes out as something else, and like, okay, well that's original now, that's mine. I'll try to cite my sources, like we said earlier, like leave a little evidence of what I'm ripping off in there. I'll always admit it, but that's part of my process. And then like that happens in the room too. Like I'll bring in something and present it, and then someone else will hear it a different way and then make a mistake with it, but that mistake is like gold. So like fucking
because then it does change the idea. And I think that's where it is as well. So before we go today, as always, links, they're listed below. So give likes, shares, follows, go do all the things, all the stuff. Go buy merch, go see them when they're playing live, buy this album, pre-order it, do whatever you can. Just do something. Help out in any way you can. Shout outs or anything else you'd like to promote today before we go?
So Sweden, our artist who did this awesome album cover. Also, we just finished. We got proofs on our T-shirts, and we're gonna put those up on Bandcamp. And they're killer. They're absolutely so killer. So can't wait to get those out. And so the album, pre-order the album, please.
Every Bitter End booking show you ever see, go see it.
Yep.
Come to Santa Rosa, see our metal scene, and drink our beer.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
And enjoy the grass.
Yeah, enjoy the grass. Absolutely. And like the shout outs have to be Baron Altar is one of the best like black and doom bands that there is. We've got Laceration, who just played Maryland Death Fest, and they're killer death metal from the North Bay. Vile Rights is doing cosmic progressive death metal in a way that's super, super cool. And there's so many more, but those three bands just feel so special to me and just so represent Santa Rosa. So support Santa Rosa heavy metal for sure.
Oh yeah. So couple quick shot questions here. For one, what do you wish you had more time to do?
Be in the studio.
Yeah, write songs.
Yeah. Be in the studio with these guys. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Is that a 3 across the board? Like, the puppy.
I want to be able to sleep more.
Oh yeah, no, I don't need to do that.
No, sleep's overrated.
Yeah.
Sleep's overrated. You can always be. What's the saying? If there's time enough to lean, there's time enough to clean, or some shit. But like, you can always in the digital world today, you can always be working on flyers. You can always be working on tour promotion stuff. You can always be planning the next thing, you're planning the thing 2 down the road, or, there's always the thing.
I heard someone once say that boredom is a terrible thing to waste.
It is. It really is. I found myself up at 1 o'clock in the morning several nights, the puppy. What's the pupper's name? You gotta always have the pets on the Metal Forge.
This is Blue.
Blue? Oh, the Blue. Oh, he's looking, or she's looking, they're looking, sorry. Anyway, so final question, lighthearted. What's the best sandwich?
Shit. I like a Cuban, to be honest. I really like a Cuban sandwich.
Nice. Like that real thin, like, yeah.
Pickles and the mustard.
Yeah. Do you like it? So if with a Cuban, you have to have them plantain chips with it.
Yeah, of course. And that like vinegar sauce. Yeah. Oh.
Now I'm gonna do that this weekend.
French dip.
Oh, that's a good sandwich.
That's a good sandwich.
A nice French, and I'm not talking like an Arby's French dip. Do y'all have Arby's and shit there? What's your fast food? Oh, you do have Arby's? Okay, I didn't know. Because, do y'all have In-N-Out up there?
Man.
Okay, so we don't here.
Okay.
But we have like White Castle.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah,
we only get those frozen at Safeway.
Yeah, it hasn't made it.
And it's not the same because, they're not steamed. You have to steam them to get them to work to go right.
Okay.
So, yeah. But like the fast food French dip just does not work.
No.
No. From Kentucky Fried Beef way back in the day, it just didn't work.
Yeah, French dip's a good sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So best sandwich.
I'm gonna take her home with a Reuben myself, man. I like that sauerkraut. Thousand Island. Some
A
good.
Reuben, a Cuban, a French beef. Wow.
That's the name
So
of our
we
next
are
album.
all. What's that?
Our next album: a Reuben, a Cuban, and a French dip.
Hey, that's where it's at. Which are all a German sandwich, a Cuban sandwich, and a French sandwich.
We're
Bam.
international.
Nothing in America. No hamburgers. Hell yeah. All top solid choices. I haven't had a Reuben in a long time either, so that might be a stop here soon. Hell yeah, dudes! Thank you all so much. This has been awesome. I appreciate you all. Get the new album from Coffin Hunters. Coming out. In July 17th, I believe is what it says here.
Yep.
Is the official release day. Cosmic Dawn. Get it on the Bandcamp page. Again, links listed below. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Mark.
On our way out today from Cosmic Dawn, what do you all want to leave the Metal Forge fans?
I mean, give them Skeleton Key, right?
Yeah, that's the first single
off the album.
It's got a killer video too. Again, animated by this guy. Cool art. So check out Skeleton Key.
Hell yeah, man. And definitely a shout out to the artwork and everything, because it's such amazing artwork. And to have an in-house person that can do that, or top notch, amazing stuff.
My case, have a vehicle to push my art through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, hey, why not? Because it's all part of the same thing. It's all from the creative mindset,
Comes from my
So
creative.
it's like what we said. It's like what we said earlier about the way you visualize music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. That's the way I do it too. So hell yeah. Skeleton Key.
Cool. Thanks, Mark.
Metal every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
You rise, come to see of the Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttatooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza Donisi. Pizza Donisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza Donisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza Donisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shade Beast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shade Beast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shade Beast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
In a broken wasteland, come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon